the Underground. I'm your host, Adam Beckley, where we host basic jiu-jitsu techniques in my basement. So these are basic techniques that you can do from your comfort of your own home, in case you're on lockdown or you don't have access to your gym, or whatever circumstance. Maybe this winter's coming and you're kind of stranded from the bad weather, but you still want to get that workout in and training in. Better than sitting on the couch and eating chips. So, these are all drills in this series I want to try to include that you can either do solo or with very little to no equipment at all. Today we're going to be covering on how to do scooting, or butt scooting it's also known as. So if you're one of my students and you're watching this for the first time, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe, because I am going to continue to have these for you all. And if you're new to jiu-jitsu and you're not one of my students, welcome. I hope that you get something out of what I'm going to show you. Keep in mind that there's 100 different interpretations, and I'm only going to give you my interpretation on how to do scooting and why I do scooting. So, let's get started. So I'm going to be using my grappling dummy here. You don't have to use a grappling dummy for this. If you have someone at home that is bored and got nothing going on, then you could ask them. They want to help out, fine, whatever. So scooting is a way of either gaining distance to get closer to our opponent or to get away from them. So in a self-defense situation, if you're in danger and there's a way to get away, you want to try and get away. I don't care how good you are, it's good to break away and get away. Defending yourself should always be the last option. There's a route to escape. You can get your loved ones safe. Please take that route. So how would that work, for instance? Say I'm in the guard here, and the guy gets up, and I just want to disengage. One variation I'm going to show you for the scoot is bracing the arm, kind of helping to keep the arm back so they can't plow into me per se, and I kind of have a hand here to help guard me. Yes, they might try and punch you, and you might get hit. There's no guarantee you're going to come out of this unscathed, especially if you're in a self-defense situation. It's not about winning or losing, it's about surviving. Okay, that's something that's very important. Survive. Okay? Survive. So, I'm going to make sure my feet are kind of planted here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting weight on my hands and on my feet. I don't want to have, even though it says butt scooting, I don't want to have a ton of weight on my bottom in this case, because I'm not going to create a great amount of distance if I do that. So from here, when I'm planting my feet, I'm planting my hands, and there's a little bit of weight on my butt, not a ton, and then I kind of just scoot away, get my feet in front. That's very important. You have your feet in front. Eventually we'll cover kicks and stuff too. Again, that's only for self-defense, not really for tournaments. You don't want to kick someone in the competition, you'll get disqualified. So from here, if you notice, my hand's behind me. It's not super close. It's a little bit away, and I have one hand up. That way I can get my feet in. Feet are coming in, hands coming out. Alright? Some people, when they're first learning this, have a tendency to like, well, I'll just pick my butt up like this. Actually takes a little bit longer. You sacrifice speed when you do that. So it's important to make sure that, well, yes, your butt is still on the ground a little bit in this situation, not all the weight's there. And the hand's got to be further back. If my hand's here and I do this, see how I make less distance? Versus, hand comes out here. Every push, every scoop, I'm making more distance. So in this case, when we're trying to get away from the opponent, we want to increase that distance as fast as possible and doing less work in that process. Another variation I've shown kids and stuff, and there's a downside to this very option, because I don't have the hand here anymore, but you gain even more distance, and it's something that's very fast. Is I kind of do a double hand, so I kind of sit flat on my bottom here, so I'm not sitting at the beach anymore. Okay, I'm not sitting at the beach guarding myself if someone's standing up over me. But this one's going to be very quick. Here's a trade-off. I sacrifice a little bit of defense, but I'm going to be able to move a lot quicker. So my feet are going to be close. My hands come out. I push. And I am much, much faster in that case. But again, I give up the defense of if he's standing over me and not kneeling and punching at me or kicking at me, you know, I can't guard my head anymore, at least with this. I like this as a kind of a happy medium, especially if they're trying to hit me and I'm trying to get that distance. And then eventually I would stand up and try and get away. And that combines into our technical stand-up that we've done earlier in the series. Forward view, so you can see what it looks like from the front. And if you want to drill this, these two different variations for scooting, and I'll show you the forward variation too. Like if you're on the ground and you're in a competition and you want to advance forward for whatever reason, I'll show you that variation too. So coming forward, my feet come out, my hand's going to be in close this time. That way when I scoop, here, now the hand's in close. Before I told you have your hand out when we go backwards. Try and get your hip up by your hand. Same thing, the hand's going to come in here. And everything's in reverse. The feet are kind of helping do the pulling and the pushing. So forward view, I'll show you from the front. I'm here sitting at the beach. My heels kind of dig into the mat. Hands here. Shift my weight on my shoulder. Shift my weight on this leg here. And push. And if you want to drill this to work both sides, usually we would do scooting up and down. You come until you get to the front. Then from here, I go back, making sure my eyes are up, my hand is out. Keeping my eyes up. Don't get in the habit of looking down. If you have a hard time focusing on something in front of you, especially when there's no one there, you have someone at home that wants to just stand there, kind of hang out with you. If you got kids, or brothers or siblings, they'll definitely be happy to do that. And you can make a game out of it where every time you look down, they make a raspberry noise. Like, I know that sounds silly, but kids love that. And if you're a parent and you're drilling with your kid at home, they'll get a kick out of it. Remember, being fun, making it enjoyable, that's why we do this. We do this because it's fun. We wouldn't do it otherwise. So, back to the lesson, making sure that I'm planted here in this hand. My feet are in close to my bottom. I push out. Pushing out. And coming forward. Side view one more time. And if you don't have mats at home, carpet should work fine, hardwood floor should work fine. If you don't have that and you're outside, grass should work okay. Concrete and asphalt's going to be a little bit rough. I wouldn't do on that unless you had no other option. Other than that, that's this variation here, the traditional one. More of the back version, which I find is a little bit easier. Again, we're giving up our defense, but if you're in a jiu-jitsu competition where they're not allowed to punch kick you, this will work just fine. If you're willing to give up some defense in order to gain more speed, this can work for you too. Everyone's a little bit different. So I'll do the sideways version one more time. Coming back, I bring my hands back. There has to be a happy medium here. I don't want to be here, because if my hands are here like this and I do this, well, check this out. I can only go really as far as I place out my hands. So you want to try and come back, and however far my hands go, I can make more power that way. However, you don't want to do, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. You don't want to get like this, right? Because now I'm putting a lot of pressure on my shoulders. And while I might be able to do it, I actually kind of get stuck a little bit. So this is too much. This is not enough. This is just right. And then of course, with going forwards, you kind of go past your hips a little bit, right roughly about here, and then you can scoot forward using your heels. And the closer you get your bottom to your heels, the more distance you're going to be able to cover. Forward view, you can see what it looks like when we drill it. Going backwards. Hands come, and scoot. And then going back and forth on it. You can make a race out of it eventually, providing you don't get too much mat burn. But anyways, that is our lesson for today. I hope you got something out of that. Keep in mind that these drills can kind of flow together. So we've covered break falling, we've covered technical stand-up. Those can all kind of come into play, where if I do fall on the ground, okay, someone's standing over me, I create my distance, then I stand up. And they all of jiu-jitsu flows together in some way. Everything connects. Don't think that everything is specifically separate for whatever reason. It does come together. It truly does. But anyways, rant over on that. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope that you got something out of today's lesson. And again, I hope I see you next time. Take care.